Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dychronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 things that I think Bungie should add or change to Destiny 2. More specifically, this is not going to be about Beyond Light, what we already know is coming out in Beyond Light, what we want from Beyond Light. This is just going to be a general roundup of things that I think would improve Destiny 2 across the board. And obviously there are a lot of things that you could say about Destiny 2 wanting some specific thing from another game to be added into this game because you liked how it worked in that game. And honestly, that's how I approached a lot of these different things. And right before I get into it, I just wanted to mention I still have a giveaway going on right now that'll end at the end of October. So if you want to win yourself an Astro A10 headset, Blue Yeti microphone, or a GG Gamersubs Gamertub, link in the description down below. Moving on to those 10 things, which are in no particular order, starting up at number 1, I would like better inventory management controls. I am sick and tired of playing inventory management simulator. I have so many games that just inundate me with being over encumbered, getting rid of tons of stuff, walking 20 meters, and then being over encumbered again. In Destiny 2, a similar problem of your inventory completely being filled, you can't transfer things over, your postmaster pushes out your ascendant shards because they're completely inundated by items. There needs to be a better system. One big problem that I have are going to be these shaders. I've got a full 50 shaders in my inventory and over 100 different shaders in my vault. My recommendation to Bungie would be to merge the shaders into collections. Right now we can only see up to 50 shaders whenever we color a weapon or an armor piece or whatever it may be. Why not just completely fill out that section with the entire collections and then have better categories and sorting functions? Which is my second point. Why don't we have filter, search functions, and better categories? Why do we gotta click through every single little thing? When somebody says, I like the 44 steel shader, why do I have to go to Google to figure out what it is, where it is, what it looks like? Why can't I just put a search bar or have a filter function? My personal favorite would be filter by colors. If I'm making a red armor set, give me all the red gear. And with that, I would also like sliders. How many times have I had 900 shaders of a certain type, for example, Avalon Teal, which I literally have 900 Avalon Teal, and then I go to Cryptarch and I'm like 5 at a time, 2 seconds every time. I'm gonna be here forever. How many times have you been the spider and you wanted to claim 1,000 of the little spindly things for your legendary shards, and it takes 30 minutes to do so? A slider is so simple and should already be in Destiny 2. And lastly, perhaps an auto-destroy system that allows you to auto-destroy, for example, blues that come in your inventory when you really don't care about blues, like I really don't care about blues, and of course allow you to tick it on or off whenever you want. Up at number 2 on this list is going to be the Destiny 1 raids. I love the Destiny 1 raids. I thought they were incredibly well made, incredibly story-driven, and I want them to make a return to Destiny 2. Now obviously we do actually have Vault of Glass coming with Beyond Light, but we've been in Destiny 2 for 3 years. Why is it taking 3 years for us to get one raid? It should be something that not only people really want and will accept as content for Destiny 2, but also something that will be relatively simple as compared to making an entirely new raid for Bungie. All you have to do is revamp the graphics and the mechanics and the health bar, and really, they've got themselves a cheaper raid. So why not release like maybe 1 to 2 of those old raids into Destiny 2 per year that allows you to work on those really big raids every year like Garden of Salvation? Seems like a no-brainer to me. Bring back the old raid. Up at number 3 is going to be SRL, otherwise known as the Sparrow Racing League. If you've never heard of it, it's basically PvP racing on your Sparrow. There's a bunch of enemies around that you go past. There's a bunch of little checkpoint gates you have to go through. You get a bunch of different boosts. There's a bunch of different bonuses. You can do flips and tricks, and there's a bunch of laps, and it seems simple, but racing games are one of my favorite games of all time, and I really want to see return to Destiny 2. Now this could come in special events, maybe once in a big event like a Halloween event, or in the Christmas event, maybe that comes back at those times, maybe it comes back multiple times per season like Iron Banner does. It would be a new look to these seasonal events. You know, we can't have just Iron Banner over and over and over again. We gotta have something new to the pool. And if they do bring it back, they must allow at least partly pre-made teams. I do not want to have to solo queue for Sparrow Racing League. I do realize there's some problems that people could take over lobbies and force certain people to win, but I do like playing with my friends. Maybe they'll have separate options for solo queue versus not solo queue. That seems pretty simple. Up next at number 4 today, I would like a better and more transparent way to earn Eververse item. It used to be so much easier and consistent to get cosmetics through bright engrams, and now we can only get stuff from Season of Undying, which is Shadowkeep, and before. It's not interesting or exciting at all to get these bright engrams if you've been playing at anywhere near as long as I have. You have everything you want, and everything that you don't have is old and everybody already has it. It's not really special. I realize that they have made these changes because they want people to buy silver, but this isn't right. There's too much stress thinking about what you want to use your bright dust on instead of looking forward to spending it and getting it. Now obviously there's a bunch of systems, including the prismatic matrix, that may have gone too far in our favor. I was literally getting 100% of all of the bright dust and Eververse items every season from this system, but perhaps somewhere in between the prismatic matrix era and the era we have now. I want to be excited for a bright engram, so perhaps Bungie needs to make some changes to it. Coming up at number 5, I would like character recustomization. We start the game with a character customization that we can never change again. Why make a system like this that is fully made when you're only using it 0.001% of the time? We as human beings like to make changes in our life. We like to try something new, and obviously we have the armors and the shaders that we can customize ourselves, and taking our helmet off is only really in the tower, but people will go for that. Hell, I mean, in Monster Hunter World, people actually pay money to get a full transformation and customization of their characters. And with that, we could also have it as a new set of cosmetics that could drop from certain activities. If you want that golden mohawk, you gotta go do hard mode Vogue. I don't know. There could be a lot of different things, and I think it would be really nice. I can't tell you how many times I've kept my helmet on in the tower because I don't want everyone to see my really poorly made character. Up next, for number 6, everything needs to have a purpose. All specific gun archetypes, exotic subclasses, classes, etc. need a specific use case. There are too many things in this game that are literally worse than other items for what they do. A big example of this is going to be Ophidius Spaith, an exotic chest armor for the hunters that give them an additional knife charge. This is literally just an additional melee, but only for the solar subclass. The warlocks have the Claws of Ahamkara, which just give them, across the board, an additional melee charge for any of their subclass types. So in a direct comparison, the Ophidius Spaith is literally inferior to the Claws of Ahamkara. Now obviously these are different classes, but it really just goes to show that some things have just been completely forgotten about. And with that, there are so many other things. For example, how many fusion rifle frames are in the game, and how many do people actually use? Would you believe me if I told you there were 4 frames? When would I ever want to use Oath Keepers, when I can just pull and release the bow anytime I want and use Celestial Nighthawk? Why would I ever want to use a Scout Rifle if all PvP maps offer a closer range approach option? Why would I ever want to use Aeon Armors? Now obviously perhaps I'm being a bit hyperbolic with this, but I believe everything needs a purpose, and I try to vary up my loadouts as often as possible because I like variance. I like to use things that are very optimal for certain activities, and sometimes I just can't find a use for certain things. Coming up at number 7, which is probably a pretty ambitious desire, is Forge and better custom game options. Now Forge was a special mode in the Halo games that allow you to make completely custom maps with basic materials and items, but this allowed us to make our own custom maps for PvP, as well as fun, interesting custom games, like games like Infection, or special games like Griffball, or weird things like Duck Hunt. I cannot tell you how many hours I've spent on these crazy and silly custom games with such simple premises, because we have the ability to make it not only in Forge, but also make this special and unique custom game. Right now, in our particular private games on Destiny 2, we don't have the ability to spawn in with infinite ammo. We don't have the ability to force people to use specific loadouts. We don't have the ability to literally spawn in with just heavy ammo so we can have a sword battle. We don't have the ability to have infinite grenades or infinite super. We have to play on the Mayhem custom playlist to get what we want. Obviously, Forge is a very large undertaking. My personal desire is going to be those custom game options. I can think of so many different things that we can do with the maps that we already have if we just had more intricate options. And again, this is not a huge ask. There is already all of the infrastructure that they need to make this possible. And on top of that, Bungie can crowdsource maps. They can literally draw from the best possible PvP maps in the rankings of search results and all that whatnot, and bring them in as their own maps, in their own playlists, in literal just PvP control. Coming up at number 8 is going to be trading-ish. Now technically, Bungie has reported that they never want to have a regular trade system in Destiny 2. Their philosophy is that a gun or armor is a representation of an achievement made in Destiny 2. If you have the mountaintop, you did the grind and you earned it, paid recovery sites aside. There also might be a big problem with gray market reselling of guns, armors, etc. like we have in games like CSGO. And with that, theft, cheating, and scams will rise to match that. Perhaps a more minor system, a better system like in Diablo, where you can give your recently earned loot to another player that had completed that activity with you. That will ensure that you have completed the activity to get that gun or armor, but you just got unlucky, and maybe that person who already has his god roll can just give the stuff he doesn't care about, which will obviously eliminate all of those aforementioned issues. Up at number 9, allow us to reacquire post-Tier 2 guns and armor. Currently, we cannot reacquire randomized guns and armors from collections for obvious reasons that you have to get the random rolls from the activity you get them from, but why not make the collections roll the curated roll, or the first roll you ever got, allowing us to get the gun when we only need a specific gun type. Sometimes you really just need a certain gun and have deleted the guns you have that fit the archetype or the criteria, and now we can't do it. An example of this problem would be the Thorn quest. It required us at some point to get Void, hand cannon, precision headshot sprees, and I didn't really have a good hand cannon for it. You know, I had the basic Ikelos hand cannon, which I didn't really like the 180s. There was that Trials one from way back in the day I never got, and I deleted my Kindled Orchid. So I was forced to use one gun and suffer the entire time because I couldn't reacquire a roll for a gun that I had in the past, Kindled Orchid. And the funniest thing is, when you inspect those random rolled guns in the collections, it literally shows you the curated roll that's a locked roll that they could just be giving to it. And finally, at number 10, bring back the toilets. Have you ever thought to yourself when you're walking around the tower, where are all of these people living? Where do they go to the bathroom? Where are the toilets in the tower? Why does Bungie keep them covered up? Is the Traveler powered by poop? Are the Guardians made of poop? I just described like the shittiest lore derivative you've ever heard. Oh, I didn't even mean that to be a pun. Let's go. All right, so this has been more of like a top 9 things they should add to Destiny 2, but honestly, why isn't there toilets? It really is strange that there's no doors that say toilet on it. That is going to be pretty much the end of the video. Let me know, obviously, in the comments down below what things you would like to see in Destiny 2. And of course, try to avoid things that are obviously coming in Beyond Light that we already know about, and things that would have weird ramifications. For example, an armor set bonus was something I played around for a while, but it really just felt like something on top of the pile. You know, just adding things on top of the pile just means that Bungie has to adjust the activities to be harder. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name's been Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.